Hi everyone, it's Craftytinas. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make a fabric covered book in a different way than we've made in the past video. Now, in the previous video we made a padded fabric covered notebook for video game notes or recipes or hints, whatever you wanted to use it for. Now for this book we covered chipboard with felt and then cotton fabric, but we used cardstock where we punch the holes. Today's video we're going to show punching the holes into the fabric and chipboard and how we get the fabric onto the chipboard so that it stays. So we are going from the padded look to the flat look. Now you might be asking, why are you putting fabric instead of paper? Well, I had a bunch of Christmas fabric I wanted to use. I also wanted it to feel kind of neat. This is just cotton fabric, like quilting fabric that you can get at any craft store. Even Walmart sells cotton fabric. Go through your scraps, guys, see what you have. I happen to have had this one, just this amount of this, and how cute is that? It's also trimmed in gold, so I thought the gold binding would look really nice as a notebook. And the inside I'm going to use snowflakes. So I'm going to show you what you need. Today's video we're making a quarter size. For the inside I'm using my recipe page. This is the page I created for when I find a recipe and I need to jot it down because I'm not going to remember how to make it or what ingredients goes inside. And then the back side is all lines for notes. So this is my quarter page recipe. Now I fold my pages. So this is actually a half sheet of paper folded in half and then cut. So this is 5.5 by 4.25. I am making my cover the exact same size as my pages for this book. You can make this in any size you want, and you can even make the cover larger if you would like. Because we are doing the flip so that we can do the split wire, you can make this book bigger and it will be the same concept. You don't have to worry about lining it up on either machine. Now we are using the cinch machine for binding. I have the regular size cinch with the round holes. I have the mini cinch with the square holes. Now I'm going to show you how to line it up and punch it and bind it using both machines. This book was made using the original, and I'm going to show you how I did it. This is the mini cinch, and I'm actually going to make a notebook, and we're going to do it together here on the video. So the first thing I need to tell you is what you need. You're going to need 2 pieces of fabric for the inside. That's this cover and this cover. And yes, I know I have them going 2 different ways. You're going to need a piece of fabric for the outside, back, and top. If you just want to make the top fabric and the back just cardstock, that is perfectly fine too. There's so many options. You have so many creative functions going on here that you can change it any way you want. Once you have the basic steps, you really can go far. Now we are using a backing on our fabric that is going to glue it to our chipboard. This I'm using so that when I punch the holes, the fabric doesn't ravel and the fabric is on the chipboard entirely. There's no bubbles in here, there's nothing sticking up, there's nothing to come apart. We are basically adhering the fabric to the chipboard. And for that I'm using this Heat and Bond. I'm using the Ultra Hold. You probably don't need to go that far. This is just, I keep this because I embroider and machine embroider, so I use this a lot. So I ran out and just picked up a new package, so I actually had the wrapping for it. Just opened it. Normally I take this out of the bag and throw it in a drawer, and sometimes I don't remember what it is. It's relatively inexpensive. You can get this. Any craft store that sells fabric is going to have a Heat and Bond type. I want to call this paper, but it's not. It's basically paper with glue on it. It's basically a piece of paper and it has glue. It's very textured. So what you're going to do is, I made it easy on myself. I do this a lot for sewing. I made templates. This is a 1/4 inch, which is 4 1/4. This is a 1/4 page, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I made a template for the inside, which needs to be a 1/4 inch smaller. So the inside is 4 inches by 5 1/2, and the outside needs to be an inch bigger, so it's 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. So once you make these templates, you can use them. You don't have to just use them for fabric. You can use this for your vinyl or your paper. It's easy enough to use. You just simply trace it, cut it out, you're good to go. I do it for the fabric because I iron my fabric first, especially cotton, because it's going to shrink. Normally when you use fabric, you would wash it first and then do whatever you're going to do. This is never going to be washed, so you don't have to worry about it shrinking. But if you're using a hot iron, this will shrink some. Iron your fabric first. Then you simply want to cut out of your heat and bond. I guess this would be considered interfacing, kinda, but we're just going to call it iron-on adhesive. Let's call it that. You're going to need 2 pieces of each size. So you need 2 pieces cut out for the inside and 2 pieces cut out for the outside. Once you have these 4 pieces, you're going to iron them to the back of a piece of fabric, and then your fabric is going to look like this. Fabric on one side, paper on the other. You're ironing the glue side, which is the really rough, rigid side. You're ironing that to your fabric. With me so far? Basically, you're adding interfacing, is what we used to call it when I sewed. It's iron-on adhesive. You will need 4 pieces, 2 front, 2 insides, and 2 outsides. And that's why you have your templates, because these are 4 by 5 1/4, and these are 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. You need all 4 pieces to have the interfacing glued on. All I did was I cut out my fabric and I cut out my iron-on adhesive. I put the iron-on adhesive on my fabric and ironed it on. You can take the piece of fabric any size before you even cut it out. Cut out the iron-on adhesive, put the iron-on adhesive down, and then cut it out to shape. However is easiest for you to get the end result, which is a piece of fabric that is 5 1/4 by 6 1/2 that already has the iron-on adhesive on it. All right, once you have those 4 pieces, you are ready to begin making your covers. We're going to take a piece of chipboard. This is 30 point. If you're not happy with the flexible part, because remember, we're not wrapping this in cardstock or paper, so it's not getting any thicker. If you don't want it this thin, I do for the small books, I don't mind it like this. If you want it thicker, double your chipboard. Simply glue another piece to this piece and then do the same procedure. It's a total personal preference again. So now we're going to take 1 inside and 1 outside, and we're going to cover this piece of chipboard. So this is my outside piece, which is the bigger piece. You're going to peel off the paper. It's not really stuck there, it's more static electricity holding it on. And when you pull off the paper, you're going to see that there's this vinyl-y, rubbery feel to the back of your fabric. Lay that down on your board. Now I just have a simple little cloth rag here that I used in the craft room to dry my ink stamps. You're going to need something to iron on. You don't want to iron on your mat. If you have a ironing board, that's the best place, but I can't move the camera over to there. So you're just going to take any kind of old towel, thick piece of cloth. This is 1 inch bigger than my chipboard. So I want to make sure that I put this in the center, giving me a 1/2 inch all the way around. And again, this is not sticky, so this won't stick. So I want it to stay in place just for a minute. So I just put one little piece of double-sided there. I'm going to place this here. And the reason I want it to stay for a second is because I want to cut my corners. Just like you were doing it when you are doing cardstock or paper, you're going to cut your corners, not cutting too short. You don't want to get all the way to the corner. Just cut all 4 corners off. And now we're ready to iron. Do not touch this area with your iron. It will stick to your iron. But I want to glue or melt this glue onto my chipboard, folded over like this. We're going to move these out of the way. So I'm going to take my iron and I'm going to just stick this part to my chipboard. And I'm kind of pulling it toward the center. Now I have my iron set on cotton because it is cotton fabric. That means it's going to get very hot. So now I want to turn this and do the next side, making sure that I'm pressing it flat and pulling it in as I press. Don't burn your fingers, and don't let the iron touch the shiny part. Now that I have them both turned in, I can iron this really good to get it to stay. And it's going to curl a little bit, which is fine. So now let's do the next side. Let's pull this in. Get it started. Again, not touching the shiny, because the shiny is what's going to stick, and you don't want it to stick to your iron. Then I'm going to pull in the last side. And now I have all 4 sides tucked in. I want to turn this over and I want to give this a good iron. Because remember, there's glue underneath here too, and we need to make sure the entire surface gets ironed. And yes, it's going to curl while it's hot. That is fine. You'll be able to straighten it back out. You want to give it a really good heat. I want to give it a little press. Let it cool off for a second while it's flat. Because it's extremely hot. And now I have this really cool looking fabric colored chipboard. So now let's add the inside piece. The inside piece is the same way. It's fabric with the adhesive vinyl on the back. And we don't have to wrap this around any sides. This just goes straight down. And guys, I have a hard time. I have a hard time with stickers too, so it's just me. And again, it's not stuck, it's just mostly static electricity holding this on. It's like pulling wax paper off of something. It's not really stuck there. There we go. As you can see, it's not really stuck. It's just enough to annoy you not to be able to get the corner. So now we have the glue side and the fabric side, and we're going to center it on this. Go ahead and make sure this is cooled off, because if it's really hot and you go to stick this down, it's going to stick too quick, and you want to make sure that you've got it centered, or centered the best way you can. Once we have it on there, just like when we were doing cardstock or paper, we want to leave that little border. And now you want to iron this really well also. Make sure you get the edges and the corners, because remember there's little folds, so you want to make sure I'm going to make sure that the heat has gone all the way through and that it has stuck on all 4 sides. If you have any strings, go ahead and clip them. It will not keep raveling. The beauty of this stuff is it stops it from raveling. It gives it a more, the actual fabric more finish, so that it's not going to keep raveling, which is going to make it easier when we punch our holes. Now you're going to get a little fuzzies there, and you're going to get some little strings here and there. Normal wear and tear is going to be normal, but you're not going to have it coming apart because of this iron-on adhesive. So now we have the front to our book. Isn't he cute? So now let's do the other side. Let's take the paper off. Look at there, much better. This does happen. All you have to do is just come at it from the other side and it'll come off. Like it's just wax paper with one shiny side and one paper side. So the next thing we want to do is the same step, and that's get a piece of 1/4 page, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, 30-point chipboard. We're going to add a tiny bit of double-sided, and that's just to hold it down when we place it where we want it. And that little strip does not matter, it just melts right into this glue. We're going to clip our corners so that we can fold it down. And all these steps are just like making any other cover. You're just doing it with fabric that has adhesive on it. And you're having to iron it. Okay. So, again, I want to fold over my side. And if you want, you can like get it creased, get it going so that you do get it all the way down, watching your fingers and not touching the adhesive on both sides, because this shiny stuff is glue and you don't want to get it on your iron. You're going to go all 4 sides just like we did before. And I'm pushing it this way to kind of don't hit this. I wasn't watching, I was watching the camera. And it does get hot, guys. You could probably turn the iron down a little bit off of cotton if it gets too hot for you to handle. This fabric's a little thicker than this one, so I just wanted to make sure I had enough heat to melt the glue through the fabric. And again, we're not touching the shiny. We're going to stay on every part that has not been the exposed glue. We're going to do the last side. Again, folding everything down. It's easier for me to go in the middle and come at it, pushing it at that point. This allows you to get all of those edges nice and secure. Now you see how we have completely covered the corner on every side but this one, and that is because I didn't fold it in enough and I cut it too close to that point. You always want to leave, you always want to leave just a little bit there, not to have that happen. I'm okay with it because this is going to cover most of it. So I'm not going to worry about this little tiny bit showing. So now we are going to watch me fight with the paper again. And it's not difficult, guys. This part's just me. And it's because I cut it so close. I have no little extra edge. Now we're going to take the glue side, which is the shiny side. We're going to put it down. I'm going to flip it around because some of these corners are a little longer than others, and I'm going to try to get the longest corner to cover this up. If you put the iron-on glue onto your fabric, if you have a rotary paper cutter, you know, one of the Fisker ones that have the never needs a new blade, never needs sharpening rotary cutter, you can cut the fabric with the glue already attached to the back of it on that. I have done that before. We're gonna flip this over. Make sure we got a good glue going on. And it's gonna curl. You just need to make it flat again. Kind of cool it off. Once it cools flat, it will stay flat. You just want to make sure all your glue is secure. Let's get this iron out of my way because I will touch it. So now we have our front and our back, and we're ready to use the mini cinch to cinch it. Now I chose the recipe printout. If you want this, it is on my Facebook page. I have a bunch of printables for 1/4 page, 1/2 page, 5x7, and some other miscellaneous size. If you've seen my videos and you've seen printouts that I have created, all of those are on my Facebook page, which will be in the description. This is the 1/4 page recipe. So I've already punched these holes, and I wanted to show you how to punch the holes in the actual papers and in the cover. So we're going to use my mini cinch log. I'm in the process of updating it again, but we're going to do the Craftytinas mini cinch log split wire. I wanted to put 4 wires as the split wire on this one, but I only did 3 on the original. And the reason I did that was I like having space. This one doesn't give you enough space because you can't pull out the pegs to prevent it from punching holes where you don't want it. So I was happy with the 3 on this machine, but the 3 would have been way up here and way down here, and I didn't like the proportion. You can do 3 here, you can do 4, however you want to do it. Just use my log sheets, which are on my Facebook page. I have the regular and I have the mini, and it will help you line up for your punches. So we're using the split wire. It's a 5.5 inch. I want to put 4 and 4 wires. So I need to line up my paper or my cover at 4 1/4 to the left side of 0. Here's our center, which is 0. So I want to go to 1 1/4 on this side, not this side. So we're going to take our pages, go to 1 1/4, which is right here, which means we're going to have 4 holes, not 6. Punch, flip, line it up to the same thing again, 1 1/4, punch. Yes, I do 2 punches on this machine. They're not the cleanest of punches like this one is, so I've become not trusting it. So now I have all my pages that have 4 and 4. Now let's do these. And full disclosure, I have not punched fabric in this machine yet, so let's see what happens. If I was doing this on the cinch, the regular, I would do both of these at the exact same time. This has a 15-page capacity. I'm keeping it at 10 pages because it doesn't punch 15 nicely. So I'm going to do these one at a time because I can't trust it. So I want my wires here, so I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to go to the 1 1/4. Punch. Okay, that wasn't bad. And it punched it. Awesome. Did a pretty good job too. So then we're going to flip it, go to 1 1/4 again, punch it, and there we have it. It did pretty good. It's going to have some strings, guys, because you're cutting fabric. These were not meant for fabric. You can cut those little strings off. If you're careful enough with a lighter, you can burn them off. Now I need to punch this side. because this is my back cover. So I'm going to go face down. I'm going to go to 1 1/4 again. It's very important if you punch twice not to move it. Like when you hold it down, do not move anything except this. And now I have my punches. Here is my book, and I am binding it with a 9/16 wire. I held it up, and that's the wire size. This is my little guide. You can find how to make this on my YouTube channel as well. I'm going to put this in this wire. I printed 25 sheets. I folded every sheet in half long ways and then used my stack cutter to cut it at 5 1/2. So this was one whole page, folded, and then cut in half at 5 1/2 and 5 1/2. So this is 25 pages for 25 recipes, but it's 25 double-sided, so this is actually 50 pages in here. It's probably coming close to the limit for the 9/16. You can hang your wires in order to put your book down, or you can put your wires in this way. And I know everybody's yelling, but wait, don't do it yet. And they would be right. I just wanted to show you what the book looks like. Before you put the wires, you need to take the back exactly like it is and put it on the front. This will keep the seam of the wires on the inside of the book. So now we're going to put these here. And I'm going to put these here. Now we can cinch. Now the cinch has limited ability for size wires. The instructions say to use a 5/8 wire. I'm using a 9/16, which is slightly, ever so slightly smaller. Because this is a curved cinching machine, it will not do large wires or even little tiny ones because it is basically set to be one size. So put it inside this area, making sure it is all the way to the back. The bottom and the top go flush to the back wall. You're going to hold that against the back wall and cinch. It is not wanting to cooperate today. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing again. And now I have my wires all closed up. So when I close my book, the outside does not have the seam. The inside has the seam of the wires. Not that that's a bad look, but it looks better to look like they are free-flowing and loose. And now I have these cute little gold. I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but the trim of all this, the different shapes in here is gold. It's just hard for you to see it. So the gold wires look wonderful. This is our Christmas in July month. So we're making all kinds of Christmas themed items and Christmas gifts. Now let me explain what I did over here. I did the same thing, except I used the Craftytinas log. I'm using 5 1/2 because the machine only cares about where you're going to put the wires. I wanted 3 + 3. So my slider, which is here, this one does not have a slider. My slider goes to 1 1/4. I'm pushing 1, 2, and 3, and I'm pulling 4 through 12. I simply punched, flipped, and punched, and did all the pages and the covers the same way I did on this machine. Except over here, I set my slider to 1 1/4, pushed in 1, 2, and 3, and then set the rest of them, I pulled them so that they don't punch. I then set my machine 1 click above 1 1/2 because there is no 9/16. There's no 5/8 on here either. I put it 1 click above the half, did my wires the same way, by putting the back cover on top, and then simply held it to the back, cinched, did the other side, held to the back, and cinched. There's a lot of videos of me doing this exact same thing but with paper. If you're more interested in this machine, I have a few videos, because this is new to the craft room, using the Mini Cinch. Now these books do not have to be recipe books. It would be a great book to have a Christmas to-do list, or simply lined pages, so that you could keep track of what you have coming up for Christmas. But here's two more examples of our Christmas in July. These are quarter page. We used our cinch guides. This one is mint green on your PDF. My printer decided to print yellow. This one is pink. You're going to need the Ultra Hold if you're going to do fabric. And to make it easier on you, please make templates out of chipboard. You can reuse these now as many times as you want and continue making your fabric. You do not have to make Christmas ones. You can also do any themed fabric. Sometimes it's easier to find like characters or themed fabric where you can't find it in paper. So this is a great alternative. If you're trying to find a character themed notebook that you can't find, you're more likely to be able to find fabric than you are paper. Make sure you look in your quilting section. You can get fat quarters, which means it's just a quarter of a yard. It'd be perfect for making notebooks. So I hope you liked this video. Please make sure you subscribe. Tell me what you think below, and tell me what else you'd like to see. As always, guys, happy crafting, and make sure you join the Facebook page so you can get these guides and all the fun printouts. Until next time, guys.